Hi friends, welcome back to MuleSoft series of learning videos. I am Siva.thankamanee, an integration technical architect. For the past couple of weeks, many viewers requested me to present a session on automation of CI/CD process. So I have decided to present this video. This might take a long time, but still I wanted to provide a complete and end-to-end guide for automating build and deployment process by using Jenkins and Maven. Let's get started. As an architect, you may want to automate your CI/CD process in your organization. So you might need some basic tools to support this automation. So you need Jenkins. So it's better to have a dedicated server where you can download this Jenkins and then install it. And you might need some settings, which I'm going to explain in this video. And next, you need a code repository where multiple team members of yours can do the daily code commit. So this automation is effective only when there are multiple people involved in the development and the code commit is done on a daily basis. So you want to streamline the code commit process and then make this automation. So you may decide different varieties of and versions of GitHub repository is possible, or you can even choose SVN if you want. So either SVN or GitHub is preferred. And then finally, you need to have Maven installed in order to do this build process. Here is the Jenkins download page, and you can visit Jenkins. You can just Google search Jenkins download and get to this page. And you have different versions based on the OS you are using. You can choose and download it. I have used Windows 64 and I have preferred this version. And once you download, it will automatically take you to the installer and then it will walk you through step by step. So that's the simple process which will install Jenkins. And then you can create and register your own GitHub if you are an introductory or learner for the CI/CD. So it's free. You can register and then do the code commit. So I have been using Sourcetree as a tool, which is a free version which you can download. So I have downloaded Sourcetree to manage this code repository. So Sourcetree provides easy options to do this code commit visually, or even you can use even command line operations. But I prefer to do this visually. So you have easy commit. Once committed, it will show for this uncommitted files, which you can choose and commit it. So which is very easy. You can come to the tools and options, and you can go ahead with your Bitbucket setup here. So once you set up and authentication is successful, you will be able to visually operate on the GitHub code repository. So then finally you need Maven. You can go to the Maven download page and you can choose zip file. You can directly extract it in your local folder and then it's ready to use. So these are the initial server setup you need to do. Then we will go ahead and see what are the different configurations that are required. Let's see some important configurations that are required for Java on Maven. So once you download Java, I hope you have already set up this Java, but nevertheless, you need to have the Java_home setup, which is pointing to your JDK. And you will also need to have this M2 home, because like Java refers to the Java home, Maven refers to the Maven home to find out where the installation directory is. So you have to give the installation directory under M2_home, and then come to path. And you need to have JDK path and corresponding Apache Maven path here, these two, but with the executables directory where you have to give \bin so that it points to the location where the executables are available. Now I want to check if everything is available and ready to go further. So I'm checking Java version here, and then I'm checking the Maven version, which is correctly installed and properly deployed. and then also we can check if the Jenkins is installed properly. So I am going to the Jenkins dashboard, and which I have created, and then I have created a username and password. And finally, you can register Mule Cloud Hub as a trial version. If you have your own enterprise version, you can use it, but for demonstration purpose, I have registered with my email address, and it allowed me to come here, and then runtime manager is here. So in order to demonstrate this CI/CD process, I have created a simple project with a HTTP listener and then set payload, which simply greets the welcome greetings for the user. So this is the payload which I have set, like status is success and message. So let's see how to start with this automation process. In order to automate this build and deployment, you need to have this project with this Maven enabled, where you can see the POM file. And there are important ingredients that are required to support this automated build. So let's investigate one by one. So these are the standard sections where you will have the name of the project, artifact, ID and version, etc. This is usual. And you need to have a Maven plugin with the appropriate version. So you will have different versions you need to choose based on what you are currently working on. So you can accordingly go to the MuleSoft website and then refer the plugins that are required for the appropriate versions, which will work fine. So there is no hard and fast rule that you need to use exactly what I'm using. But anyways, for the reference purpose, I'm going to give you this POM file as a link below in this video, so you can refer it. But you don't need to memorize all this, and it's readily available in the Mule configuration details and in the MuleSoft website. And the final section of this POM file, which is required for this our deployment purpose, is the configuration for this Mule Maven plugin. There is a configuration section that's extremely critical. So where you need important details either as a property file or as a value. So in general, it's preferred to have the property file so that you have to mention it in multiple places. So it's better to have this as a property. And what are the properties? So you need to have a Mule Cloud Hub URL, a version, and you need to have this anypoint username which you have registered and obtained this username and password which is given by you, and the name of the application to be deployed in the Mule Cloud Hub, and the environment name. So this environment name should be specific to what environment where you want this application to be deployed. In my case, it's a sandbox, so which I have mentioned in the property file. Now let's run this application to see if there is no error before we start deploying. So I have deployed this in the port 8081 under greetings, and the relative path is welcome. So it should give us some simple success message. So I have already given here, so let's try it again. So the JSON message is coming as an outcome which is saying success. So let's start with the deployment step. So I'm going to demonstrate to you on first how we can do it as a command prompt, and it should get deployed in our Mule Cloud Hub. So I have deployed the one that I already deployed. So now there is no any application here. Now I have given the command. So the command to execute this and then deploy it into the MuleSoft Cloud Hub environment, I will give you in the comment section. But after executing this command, it started compiling, and then it's deploying it into the MuleSoft Cloud Hub. And then let's go back to the Cloud Hub and then see this application is deployed or not. So the MuleSoft Jenkins CI/CD is deployed here, and it started. So let's see how to use this. So we have deployed it this in 8081 port. So let's go to settings and then choose this URL, and then let's go back to our local URL and then change this with HTTP. So this is a host URL which you can retrieve from settings. So this is deployed automatically by using this Maven command which I'm going to give you. So it is successfully deployed and we got the same message as we got in local machine. So this is a command you need to execute. It's Maven clean install, and you need to add deploy, and you need to give this properties that the application is required to deploy it into the public cloud hub. So the properties that we used is anypoint username and anypoint password and anypoint environment. So I'm giving all these properties with the help of -d option. So the next step is to commit the completed code into the Bitbucket, which I have already done. So you can go to the Bitbucket and create a repository, and under the repository you can commit the entire MuleSoft project code successfully. So I have used Sourcetree to commit all my changes. I have done several changes, and then finally my update is committed into this Bitbucket. So which I am going to verify here. So I see all the files under src main app and the resources. Everything is clear, so it's good to go. So Bitbucket is completed. Now let's go back to Jenkins and then look at the important configurations that are available. Now let's log into Jenkins, which I have already downloaded, and the URL is here. So it's localhost, it's running on port 8080 and /login. So it will give you the Jenkins, which I have already done. Let's sign in. So I logged in. So let's see the configuration before we set up the project related configuration. So let's go to Jenkins and click on manage Jenkins. And under global tool configurations, we might need to set up some critical stuff. So Jenkins might need to know, because it internally uses the Maven command, which we have just demonstrated. So that's automatically doing based on our configurations. So it's not a magic. So it's just runs the Maven command on the project, which is available and retrieved from Bitbucket. That's what we are going to see here. So first let's give the JDK configuration. And I have added this Maven installation. You can see here under the Maven, I have given the same Maven home, which we have already seen here. And in the same way, I have the JDK installation. So sometimes to avoid incompatible versions, you need to specify which JDK it has to use by default. So I added JDK and I added the same path, which I have shown to you earlier. So these two are the critical stuff that are required, and then we can go specific to the project configuration. So I have created a project by creating a new item, and you can give the item name. You can give anything. So I'll explain here just for demonstration purpose, and choose freestyle project and say OK. And then it takes you to the page where there are multiple sections to configure. In general, you have general and description, and you have a source code management, and where you have to specify the details of the source code, where it has to be fetched from, and the related credentials. And then you need to define how the build has to be triggered. Sometimes it has to be triggered based on our code commit. Sometimes you might need to do it periodically. Say for example, in a team of say 50 members, you don't want to do it every time and resulted in error. So and hence you can decide like this build can start every day by 6 p.m. So everybody can finish the work by 5 p.m. do the code commit, so that the build process kicks in by 6 p.m. So it's all process that has to be streamlined and defined by a technical architect group. And then you have to specify the build environment and specific build activities and the post build actions. Sometimes you might need to clean up something after the completion of build. You might want to send out some email indicating that the build is completed, or if the build is failed, you might want to send a mail to the support group to indicate that there is something wrong. So some manual manual effort is required to look into what the issue is. So these are the configurations that we need to do. Now let's go back to the one that I have done already. So let's click on this configuration. So what did I do in order to make this successful? So I have given the general name and description for this, and in the source code management I have given the GitHub project details. So I have given the URL of this GitHub project, and the source code detail you need to give where this Git URL you need to give. So with this I have copied from my Bitbucket, and you can take the cloning URL and then put it here. And under the credential you need to add, and then you can click this so that it will provide the details where you can give username and password, which I have given here, which is going to be used by Jenkins for retrieving the code from the Bitbucket. So I have given branches to build this basically master. So you can see here under the source code, the master is my you may call it in SVN, it's call it as trunk. So you can give this master branch here, and then let's go to build trigger. So build trigger has many varieties, and then you can build periodically, or you can do the polling, and which I'm going to do it manually, but anyways for configuration purpose we have given this schedule cron schedule, which you can specify here hourly ones between some specific days and hour you can specify. So if you want to see how the cron schedule looks like, you may browse through and then find out what each star is meant for. So I have given star so that it will trigger every minute. This is just a demonstration purpose. And finally the build command. So under the execute Windows batch command, since I'm using the Windows server, so I can directly specify the command to be executed, which I have already explained to you. So I have given here Maven clean install deploy, the same command which I have demonstrated earlier. So you have to give anypoint username, password, and the environment. In our case it's sandbox. So if required, if you have a specific settings.xml where you want to specify the repository, some organizations will have a Nexus repository. If you have a local or organization based Nexus repository, you can specify in a separate settings.xml, and you can refer here in case you want to have a hidden file where you maintain all the credentials. So this is a build activity. So I haven't chosen any post build action. Normally we will use post build action as email to be triggered. This is basically the configurations that's minimum required for building and deploying your MuleSoft application into the Cloud Hub. So I have given the final build after a bit of a struggle, because I'm setting up this installation fresh for your demonstration purpose exclusively for this video. So please pardon me. So while setting up this build process completely from scratch today, I have taken 29 attempts to get this finally successful. You can see here this zip file is built, and then it's trying to push it into the Cloud Hub, and then you can see here deploying artifact to artifact, and then it's saying application exists, and then it attempts redeploying, and then it's checking if the application has started or not. So finally it says build success. So it's quite easy and straightforward to have this initial setup done, although there are some configuration details that you need to look into very accurately, but otherwise it's very simple process where normally technical architects are involved and then set it up. So it's a one-time task to get it going for every project. Then once it's set up, the entire team can benefit by automatically just doing the code commit. The build happens automatically, and if there are error, it gets notified to the architect group, they fix it and then redeploy it easily. So thereby it's reducing a lot of efforts and then making it simplified. I'm going to run one final time and then show you whether the application is automatically installing or not. Now let's go to Cloud Hub, and then it's already started, and it's already started at 5:27. Now let's run again, and I'm going to trigger build now. It's starting for the 30th time, and let's go back and see Cloud Hub. It should kickstart automatically. There you go. So it's deploying, and you can see the logs that are coming up. So we have come to the end of this video, and sorry for the long video session. So where I had to explain everything clearly one by one so that there is no room for doubt or clarifications. So I hope you will be able to follow this video step by step, and then maybe you can start downloading things and then set it up slowly, and then you will be able to succeed yourself just following this video. All the best. Hope you liked this video and then you got benefited out of this video. So if you felt so, please like this video and please subscribe for my videos so that I can come up with more useful video sessions. Thank you, and see you in yet another good video. Bye.